Rockstar might be hinting at a Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster in the Trilogy Definitive Edition. GTA 4 Remastered leaks have been popping up all month, and as of yesterday, Take-Two is now issuing mod takedowns for Grand Theft Auto 4, and as we all know, when they do that, we seem to get a remaster within a year or so of whatever mod they were taking down. All I gotta say is if that's the case and we do get GTA 4 Remastered, I just hope that the characters don't look something like this. I mean, Jesus, that's what we saw in the Trilogy Definitive Edition. So if you learned something new from this video and you want to stick around and join the channel, please hit that clucking bell and also leave a thumbs up for the algorithm. I'll wait. Thank y'all so much, and let's go ahead and talk about what's going on here. So all of this started in early November with a 4chan leak that has since been deleted, and while I have the link and it's in the description, there is no way to check it out. It's literally been deleted and you cannot find it anywhere. You can't find any evidence of the post anywhere, aside from articles that covered it. So the articles that covered this mentioned that 4chan leak initially stated GTA 4 Remastered would be released in 2023. However, the 4chan post also claimed that it would have majorly overhauled visuals and have new features, like the weather system from Red Dead Redemption 2. The same post also said Rockstar is planning on reworking Liberty City by adding more NPCs and vehicles in the remastered Grand Theft Auto 4. And lastly, this 4chan leak also claimed that it will have 3 Easter eggs related to the long-awaited Grand Theft Auto 6. And while we don't have enough sufficient evidence to say whether or not this 4chan leak was real because we can't access the original post and there is no proof of it anywhere, we have more to the story. So just a few days later, on November 8th, 2021, a Twitter user by the name of Ralph's Valve came in clutch with a similar claim about Grand Theft Auto 4 Remastered, seemingly out of the blue. But before we dive into this leak, let's talk about who this leaker is. So Ralph's Valve on Twitter is a relatively new account that was made in October of 2021. And while he does not cover GTA related news and leaks, he covers mainly Call of Duty. And so far, he seems to have a pretty accurate track record and also has had his leaks corroborated with other renowned leakers in the community. So the numbers don't lie. He's got a lot of support on his Twitter posts, so that's something to take into consideration. While that's not enough to say, hey, this guy is legit, he does have some credibility backing up his case here. And the first of his posts started on November 8th, and the first one is, well, very simple. And a lot of times when it comes to leaks and leakers, it's always the simple ones without much detail that tend to be true, versus the leaks that have tons of detail explaining everything about the game. Those generally are fan-made. So this tweet says 2023, and it has the Grand Theft Auto 4 logo. And he followed up with a response stating remaster, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PC, and it will also release bundled with episodes from Liberty City. So we're basically going to be getting a GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition Remastered Part 2 with the GTA 4 trilogy. And he also says it will launch without multiplayer, single player only, which would seem to be a given, being that the GTA 4 multiplayer is very outdated at this point. Although if you ask me, and this may be the nostalgia speaking, the GTA 4 multiplayer was amazing. It was so simple, and I used to have so much fun on that with my friends back in 2009, 10, and 11. Ralph then went on to follow up on November 9th by stating, I'd like to make it clear, I do not cover GTA-related news, nor do I report on GTA 6 scoops, so do not ask me about it. This simply landed in my lap by way of mutual acquaintance. Friend of a friend. And he followed up there because anytime you talk about GTA leaks, the community is so volatile. These leaks, no matter if you made them up or not, are popular because at this point, Grand Theft Auto fans just want something new from Rockstar and something new that isn't a remaster, I guess you could say. So on November 9th, Ralph's last tweet, he stated, I've read over that 4chan leak. Remember the one we talked about just a moment ago? Regarding Grand Theft Auto 4, none of what was listed is at all real. Looks to be a direct port with performance enhancements. So that's where things get a bit interesting. We get a random Grand Theft Auto 4 remastered leak out of nowhere on 4chan, and then a few days later, we get another leak that happens to state, well, that's not true at all, but this is. And this guy has a really good track record. So again, I'm not one to believe in coincidences. I think that things just happen when they're supposed to. Just like all of this information coming out at the time that the trilogy is releasing, meaning it's way overshadowed. And I haven't really seen much talk of this going on in the community. That's why I wanted to dive deep into it a little bit more. And in doing so, when the trilogy did release on November 11th, just a few days ago, well, there seems to be a change there that once again corroborates with these Grand Theft Auto 4 Remastered leaks, at least I think. So I'm going to break this one down as best as I can for y'all, but in the GTA 3 Definitive Edition, there's one minor change, and well, maybe it's a major change, but one change amongst not so many in the trilogy, because not many things have been changed. And in the original Grand Theft Auto 3, there's a billboard, and I've talked about it so many times on the channel. It says, "See you in Miami," and that was teasing the location of Vice City, which would release 1 year later, and it was not announced yet at the time of Grand Theft Auto 3 releasing with this tease, obviously. Well, one of the changes, like I said, that you don't see many of in the Definitive Edition is this billboard in Grand Theft Auto 3. It now says, "See you soon," featuring an image of Grand Theft Auto 5 with an airplane. Looks like it's leaving the state of San Andreas or Los Santos. And at the bottom it says Francis International Airport. So there's so much going through my head based on this minor change that, again, could be major. So if this was Rockstar teasing a future title like they did back in 2001, well, it could mean anything. It could be Grand Theft Auto 5's expanded and enhanced. I don't think it's anything related to GTA 6 unless we go back to Liberty City for that game. But the fact that this spot was used before to tease something that we didn't have yet, and it's one of the only changes made in the remaster that doesn't have to do with graphics or anything like that. It's a literal change to this billboard. It just makes you wonder, or it makes me wonder at least. Maybe I'm just crazy here and I'm reaching, but I just don't think that's the case. And to break this down even more and explain how I see this, in this billboard it says "See you soon," and you've got the plane leaving Grand Theft Auto 5. It's flying away from the state of San Andreas. Well, at the bottom it says Francis International. That's the Liberty City Airport. And my interpretation of that is we're going back to Liberty City with a remaster of Grand Theft Auto 4. I just have a hard time seeing it any other way due to the fact that Francis International, that's random to put there. Changing this whole billboard up, there's just so much that goes into it. But on the topic of planes and teasing things like Rockstar has done with Grand Theft Auto 3 teasing Vice City, in the first minute of Vice City in the literal intro, we see that same plane. So that's kind of a little detail I've picked up on before. And also in the Grand Theft Auto 4 credits, when they roll, at the very end, you see Packy McCreary getting out of a taxi at the airport. And what do you know? We see him in Grand Theft Auto 5. So Rockstar likes to tease things without telling us very cryptically. And while this isn't a very cryptic tease, again, it just could mean so much, but it just had me thinking about Grand Theft Auto 4 and the Remastered leaks. Now, let's go to November 12th. Everything just seems to be happening so fast. So now Take-Two has requested to remove GTA 4 mods and a GTA Advance port. This is something very new. And in the requests for these Grand Theft Auto 4 mods, it has to do with the Lost and Damned being modded into the original Grand Theft Auto 4, meaning you could play as Johnny Klebitz, but in Grand Theft Auto 4, not in the Lost and Damned, his respective game. So Take-Two is issuing these takedowns out of nowhere for Grand Theft Auto 4, and as we know, Rockstar has a history of removing mods. In 2017, the Red Dead Redemption 1 map was being worked on by members of the GTA community to port it over to Grand Theft Auto 5. Take-Two stepped in and said, nope, you can't do that. And then 1 year later, in 2018, we saw the Red Dead Redemption 1 map updated in Red Dead Redemption 2. The Trilogy mods, they've been taken down all year. Take-Two has taken down these amazing mods that have been around for over 10 years. And what do we get this year? Well, we get a mess of a GTA Trilogy remaster. And Red Dead Redemption 1 Remaster Leaks. I just want to include this briefly, but that's something as well that has been talked about on the topic of remasters, and, well, I wouldn't doubt it. Matter of fact, there is a lot of credibility regarding these Red Dead Redemption 1 Remaster Leaks. The game is over 10 years old at this point. It has stood up to the test of time, but there are a lot of leaks alluding to the fact that, yes, we will see a Red Dead Redemption Remaster sometime in 2022 or early 2023, but only time will tell. All right, well, that's it. Hopefully that was enough evidence to convince you that we might be getting a Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster. In my opinion, there seems to be a bit of evidence to back this up, but as of now, we are only kind of in the foundation levels and building the foundation for these leaks that we may get in the future that could hint at a Grand Theft Auto 4 remaster. So again, if y'all enjoy, please consider dropping a thumbs up for the algorithm and joining the channel by clicking subscribe. We are on the road to 1 million subscribers.